You don't have to agree with me, but I want to present a view of what is about to happen. So, our disruption has happened over the last decade. The future of our disruption, which is going to happen over the next 3 years, is going to be 6 or 7-fold. First, and don't misunderstand this, please, we will disrupt by taking news away from the city we are in. New Delhi will not be the center of news. This is a cold fact, and believe me, we are doing it even today. We control 80% viewership. The channels in Delhi have 20%. It's not about a geography. It's not about a mindset. Don't get me wrong. This is not my fundamental premise against Lutyens Delhi. But let me tell you this. For far too long, Indian television has lived in boxes. Boxes, I believe, that have been piled up as a sort of cushions for New Delhi to comfort the news industry of India. I have personally spent the last decade working out of a small newsroom in Lower Parel in Mumbai. And I'll tell you this, what have I learned? I have learned that being away from the national capital has allowed us the freedom to not only disrupt the system at will fearlessly, but also redefine the geography and horizons of the news viewer. So we will disrupt the news once again by taking the focus to places like Odisha, where 21 people in the ICU and dialysis ward of a hospital were killed, and it was a fleeting mention. We covered it for 3 days on our channel. We will disrupt the news once again by taking the focus to places like Bihar, where it has become an annual tradition for elected representatives of the people of an impoverished state to be grabbing goodies funded by the taxpayer. Remember, viewers, just look at last week and ask yourself fundamental fact, how many channels operating out of Delhi covered the story of Rocky Yadav? Rocky Yadav is the son of a politician, killed Aditya, 18-year-old boy, at gunpoint from the back of his car because he overtook his car. For some reason, this story didn't shake the hearts here. Is it because people felt that if you question Rocky Yadav, you'll be questioning a certain part of the establishment that you don't want to question at this point of time that is ruling in Bihar? Then you are a player, you're not a journalist. So, point number one, we will disrupt the news industry by taking news away from the national capital. Secondly, we will disrupt the news industry, and this is going to happen by creating a new center of news. We will ensure that despite the sheer volume and numbers, the national capital of India does not remain the news center for Indian journalism, because India needs to be defined beyond New Delhi, and the change makers, despite, also need to start growing out of the national capital. 17 major news channels of India serving the country are based in Delhi. I will not take names. Ask yourself the extent to which they have served the democracy of this country. There are 16 major newspapers which capture about 80% of the market based out of Delhi. Ask yourself whether they've really made the change. And if they haven't, let's ask ourselves the serious and tough question about it. The third way we will disrupt the news industry is we will end the interdependency between news and politicians. I dream of an independent media, where the interdependencies between the politician and the media are reduced as much as possible. For far too long, and I don't know why we have allowed this. For far too long, the news in this country has been using the political class as its crutch or shoulder to lean on. For far too long, the system of news has seen itself as free only to cave in and work on compromise formulas from time to time, thereby only embarrassing itself and humiliating the tenets of journalism in India's 70th year of independence. I dream of a different system. I dream of an independent media which has the maturity to regulate itself and the fearlessness to be answerable to nobody but to itself. Point one. Point two, I truly dream of an independent media where the power of independence, of its responsibility and its answerability does not go beyond itself, where even if it means that we limp on one leg, don't use that crutch. I would rather limp on one leg for the rest of my life as a journalist than use politicians as my crutch. And I have proven it time and again. The fourth way we will disrupt the news industry is to prove that money means nothing. Viewers know that this channel which we run is not run on the power of money. In the future, money will be an enabler. Money will not be the difference between winning and losing. And I can expand this to you. Money does not buy you connection with the viewer. Money does not buy you eyeballs. Money cannot buy you a ticket to be an agent of change. The courage of disruption and your own brand of journalism can make that change. But we live in India today where news is not consumed on television solely anymore. News is not consumed and increasingly in the future will be less consumed through your morning newspaper. In fact, your morning newspaper and your television set before bed become only the first agent of what the news has become. Consider this to understand. We are the second biggest community of smartphone users with 220 million users. The number of tablet users in India is 18.7 million. We have 462 million internet users. Our 3G and 4G users are 120 million. In only 24 months, we've increased that much. And Twitter has 313 million users in India. And the CEO of Twitter, who met me 6 months back, told me that they haven't even reached 1/3 of their potential. What does this mean for me as a journalist? It means that today is a glorious age where only content is king. I can't buy my way to your heart. I can't win by building distribution monopolies. I cannot win by paying more money and going on prime frequency and beating the hell out of someone who cannot afford the money, as happened in the past and was on a UHF or S-band. In today's digitized age, everybody is on an equal platform. And we will be too. We will be too. Once we are on that platform, it is for you to choose, which means nothing can keep me away from it. The future of journalism is going to go through quantum change when journalists like me begin to realize that nothing can stand between me and you. My relationship is with you. You may hate me, disagree with me. You have a right to confront me, question. Throw stones at me, boycott me. But nothing can make sure that I don't reach you. Nothing. Certainly not money. That's a beautiful moment in our industry. When money ceases to matter and content is king. Therefore, the fifth reason we will disrupt in this beautiful world which we are about to enter is that people will find good content. I believe that with avenues and seamless access to information that we have in our times when news is available and literally breaking on our fingertips at 140 characters on Twitter, content becomes supreme because it is more easy than before for people to just search and find you. Money, what can money do? Money can buy you infrastructure, but money cannot replace or buy good content, especially in the cluttered news space that we are in the midst of right now. People ask me, what about these big corporate groups? So much money they have. Media is going to be bottom up. Absolutely not. How can you? You spend all the money in the world. Will you know how to do a story? You invest thousands of crores. I challenge anyone. Come invest thousands of crores. But between me and my viewer, there is one camera and my viewer is on the other side. Prove to me that your thousands of crores will find a greater connect between you and the viewer. It will rather be an impediment. It will not be an enabler. And the last part, which I want to share with you, because we are on the edge of a massive independent media revolution. Things are about to change, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope I meet you 6 months from now and you realize what I'm talking about. Sometimes before the storm, it appears a sense of tremendous calm. In my industry today, there is boredom. More of the same. But believe me, this is a mirage. Things are going to change in a way people will not recognize again. Believe me, what will happen in this country? if a group of content creators takes the power of media into its hands and says, we know how to do journalism, and we owe it to nobody and nowhere to find the connect with our viewers. That's when journalists and content creators will become independent. The churn has started. People are thinking the revolution is about to come.